Hey everyone, it's Vanessa Codorniu here, my first Facebook Live. I'm a little nervous, I'm a little stressed out. I'm kind of used to really always talking online and talking face to face, but I'm really excited to get on and really connect with so many of you who've been reaching out and asking me so many questions about intuition. So let me tell you a little bit about what I do. And I am an intuitive. I have been one for about 20, well, I've been one all my life, right? Because once you're an intuitive, you're an intuitive. But I've been a professional intuitive for over 20 years. Hey, Jennifer J., how are you? Thanks for joining. So I've been a hypnotherapist, an intuition trainer. And the thing that's really marked my life, hey, so much love. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Kristen. Miss you, cousin. So the thing that's really marked most of my life is that I've noticed that all of us have this inner sense. We have an inner knowing, but our society doesn't really support it. In fact, for so many of us, maybe when we were little, we had a feeling or we said, I don't like that person. We were told, don't be bad person or don't be a bad kid. Why are you thinking negative? That's the thing that most intuitives get. Hey Mel, why are you thinking negatively about people? So here we are. We all have this intuitive ability. I believe that we are wired to sense the invisible. We are wired to see, to feel, to hear, and to know information that maybe someone hasn't spoken or said or shown us. But yet, as human beings, as beings that are perceptive and receive invisible information, we're constantly walking around with this intuitive gift. And then we're thrown into a society, right, in nature and nurture. So nature is we're intuitive. Nurture is that most families don't really support the focus on intuition. Why? I was lucky enough to grow up in a Latin American family, a South American family, where spiritual talk or a connection to the beyond or a belief that there was a deeper sense, that there was something behind our eyes was always supported. So I'm grateful for that. But most of us have been afraid of the invisible, afraid of the dark, quote unquote, and afraid of our own inner power. So if you look at history, you see that, there were the witch burnings in Europe. Hey, Ugo. Hey, Lee. Hey, Kristen. So there were witch burnings throughout Europe. And the irrational, right? The irrational was feared. Women were feared. And so there goes the famous sixth sense of a woman or feminine intuition. So we were thrown into this whole fear bucket, and we literally gave away something that is part of us. It's natural for us and can actually help guide our lives on a daily basis during extreme situations of trauma or an accident or a life and death situation, and also just navigating our lives. So what do? We're in 2016. So many of us have really realized that we have a deeper gift. So many of us have sought to explore our soul, and some people are not comfortable with that word. Some people are not comfortable with the word soul, and some people are not comfortable with connecting intuition to the divine, okay? So for some of you joining me, you can connect intuition to the divine and see it as a communication from God or the angels. And for other people who are joining me, you may see intuition as a facet of higher intelligence. You may see intuition as a part of the brain that we haven't tapped into, that we tend not to tap into logically, right? But that is there for us. So whether you're on the side of, hey, I talk to angels every day, right? Or whether you're on the side of, hey, that's all really crazy and woo-woo and I don't want to know about it, just know that you have an intuitive ability. So as we talk about intuition, what is it? Hey, Giovanni. Hey, Mel, thanks for the support. Woo, we are powerful. And guess what, though? Guys are intuitive as well. So we've got to give our brothers a lot of props. Some of the most intelligent, non-spiritual men that I know are super intuitive, and they connect to the emotions around them, and they're able to say the right thing or hug a woman or a person at the right time. So there definitely are a lot of different ways that we can express our intuition. So before we move any further, well, what is intuition? Intuition is knowing without knowing how we know, right? And Carolyn Myss, and for any of you who don't know her, MYSS, check her out. She's a medical intuitive and a New York Times bestselling author. She said that intuition is translogical, so it goes beyond time and beyond space. So for many of you watching, you've probably gotten that feeling or been thinking of someone a lot, right, intensely, and suddenly you get a phone call or a text, right? So that's like translogical connection. Or something says, you know, I don't really want to go to Fifth Avenue today. I really don't want to, I don't know why, I don't want to go to Fifth Avenue. And then you find out that, you know, the trains weren't working, that there was a situation. So we have a way of knowing information that goes beyond the logical mind. How does intuition express itself? Hey, Noelle. Hey, Erica. Hey, Giovanni. Oh, Angelica, Juliet. So great to have you all here. Woo! I'm sending you hearts as well. So how do we tap into this thing that we were born with, that we're wired for, that is natural, that can support us, and it can save us, and it can actually guide us. It can guide us into safety during a dangerous time. It can guide us to make wise business decisions. It can guide us to awaken to some health condition we may be having. And it can also guide us through the path, the often confusing path of love. So how does intuition express itself? We already know that's knowing without knowing how we know. But all of our intuitive systems are not the same, okay? So we all have different ways of expressing our intuition and are being able to tap into it. There are a lot of people that just know stuff, right? So they just know, they have a knowing. I met a lady the other night at the Lifestyle Lounge at Monica Aparicio's event that I spoke. I always tell people, blah, 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 blah. I know it. I don't know how I know. Listen to me. And then she said that people were always coming back and going, I don't know how you knew that, but you said it with such authority. I believe you. So how many of you out there just know stuff without knowing how you know? Anyone out there, if you want to give a thumbs up? Right? You just know stuff. You have an intuitive sense. And sometimes it just comes in, like you could be at a meeting, you could be on a date, you could be on a train, walking down the street, right? You don't need a mantra. You don't need that special candle. You don't need that special, hey, Raquel, okay, I know, you are so crazy intuitive. So you don't need to have the full moon be in Pisces. You know, these are all beautiful things, candles and crystals and incense and the moon. It's very romantic. It's beautiful. I love it. But intuition works without all that stuff. So for those people who just know things, begin to honor your knowing. And I know it's difficult in a world where, and especially for women, you know, we've come a long way, but we're still, you know, we're not making as much as men. But this is not about feminism and, you know, going on about that and on that tangent. But especially for men and for women, if you are someone who just knows without knowing how you know, start writing it down, start noticing it, start paying attention and going, wow, you know, I knew this, or I should have said something. I've heard from so many intuitives who very much blame themselves or feel guilty when something happens in their lives or their friends go through some things or something happens at work or in business where they're like, but I knew it, I just didn't trust myself. So if you are that intuitive that just knows without knowing how you know, beautiful. Start honoring that and start understanding that you're not being negative when you see something or feel something that doesn't, you know, that's not right. Know that it's your intuitive inner guidance system, right? That's trying to guide you to the best place for you, to the best decision or the best awareness. Now, this is a major topic of conversation now, and there's a lot of new books out and a lot of information coming out at this point, and I'm so happy for that. Empath. So an empath is a emotional intuitive. How many of you out there who are watching this video have walked into a room perfectly, you know, feeling perfectly centered, feeling really good about yourselves, and suddenly you're just like, boom, something hits you, like this emotional wave, and suddenly you're sad, you feel down, you don't know what's going on, you feel like I might be losing my mind or I'm a little moody. Okay, so I'm seeing some thumbs up there. Anyone else? So who out there? Who out there? Okay, some of us are empaths. All right, so an empath is someone who picks up, you know, knowing without knowing how they know, not through a knowing, but through a feeling. Hey, Angie, so great to connect with you. Thank you for being here. And so when you're an empath, wow, that can be an emotional roller coaster, right? Because you are feeling so much and you were feeling centered a moment ago, or you were feeling really good, and now suddenly you're not feeling well. So when that happens to you, take a moment to breathe. What happened before you came in and your emotions shifted? Was there someone else sitting next to you who looked particularly unhappy at on the subway or on the train? Is your boss in a really funky mood? Is your coworker, your husband, or your wife going through something emotionally because you love them so much and care about them so much that you've kind of like had a contagious mood? You know, it's like, I think of the old cartoons where actually maybe they're happening now as well, where this like cloud would fall over on someone and kind of rain on that one person. Well, it's like you've just walked into their emotional cloud. Hola, Paola. Yay, Paola. So when you are an emotional, hey Jacqueline, so when you're an emotional intuitive, what winds up happening is that you catch other people's feelings. So you have to be really careful. That makes you a really great healer. It can make you a really great artist. It can make you a very attuned actor. It can make you, a good teacher. It can make you a good boss, a good lover, a good partner. Hey, Jacqueline, it can make you a lot of great things. The thing is, if you are not aware that you're picking up people's emotions, you will suffer. You will suffer because you will feel overwhelmed, you'll feel moody, you'll feel even out of control. So what's a great way to be able to manage your empath abilities? Well, get away from people, right? Number one. Get away from them for a moment. Even if you're an extroverted empath like I am, just take that moment to take your shower, take a bath, take a walk. You need to take a breath to clear away from other people's mood clouds or mood energy and be able to just breathe and connect to your own energy and your own mind and your own heart. When you are able to have a little solitude, really feeling yourself in your body. Hey, John, and I know that you know what I'm talking about. So get a moment alone, get away, take a deep breath. And even like if you're in a crowded office, just being able to maybe go into the bathroom or take a walk or go into the hall and just breathe. And then ask yourself, is this me or is this not me? And if you can honestly answer, I was in a great mood when I woke up this morning. Life is amazing. Why am I feeling down or moody or suddenly angry? And then are able to access the knowing that it's your partner, your children, you're worried about your boss, you'll be able to release it more. Hey, thanks, Kristen. And so we've covered the person who knows without knowing how they know. That's claircognizance, by the way. Then we've looked at the emotional intuitive, right? Who is someone who really connects through their emotions. So there's also the physical intuitive. So the physical intuitive is one that will often say, I'm not intuitive at all. And I had an experience where I was teaching at a retreat in Panama. I was speaking to a group of women, and one of them said, Vanessa, I'm not a mental intuitive, I'm not an emotional intuitive, I'm not a spiritual intuitive. She goes, I'm not intuitive. And I said, that's impossible, because we're wired to receive invisible information and to access it. And the better we become at understanding the invisible information and filtering what doesn't serve us and connecting to the information that works, we can be soul aligned, we can be intuition aligned. She said, no, Vanessa, I don't buy, I'm not intuitive. So we went off to the market and we drove there. And when we were coming back from the market, she said to the group, hey everyone, I am going to jog back to the location. I looked at her like, oh my God, how are you going to figure it out? She says, I'll just know. So we drove back to the location, which, by the way, I could not have given you directions on how to get there, okay? It was like near a valley. It was gorgeous. It was green. And I didn't even know how to get there. And we turn around, maybe 10 minutes later or so on, and we see someone sweaty and jogging up to us, and it's that woman. And so I said to her, how did you know how to find us? She goes, I don't know. I just know, like, how to find places. I said, you see, you are intuitive. It's physical intuition. So a lot of men and also many women are physical intuitives. And the way that intuition expresses through that way is that you're really good at locations. You're really good at sensing where is the best path or what is the best way to go. You're really excellent at knowing when to hug someone, knowing when someone needs a supportive hug, a supportive touch. Usually a lot of physical therapists, massage therapists have a lot of physical intuition. They may not be able to explain everything, but they just know where to touch you. They know how to move you. Hey, Nancy, great to have you. And so we've covered now the mental intuitive, right, who just knows. We've covered the emotional intuitive, who feels. And we've covered the physical intuitive. So one way for the physical intuitive to just trust their intuition more is to continue to notice how people respond to their touch or respond to their physical presence. If someone needs a hug and you're that person who puts their hand on someone else's hand and they're like, thank you, or just they say it with their eyes or their feeling or their body language, you know that you are a physical intuitive. So intuition also expresses itself. Hey everyone, thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I finally got the courage to get on Facebook Live. I was a little scared, so here I am. So thank you all for joining. Yay. And so if you are a spiritual intuitive, now those are the people who also may say, well, I don't know stuff. I don't know how to hug anyone at the right time, and I don't feel emotionally in pain or sad when people tell me sad things, or when I walk into a room and people are sad. So if you're that person that when you just go out into nature, you feel at one, if you are that person that just feels deep connection when you just close your eyes and take a deep breath in, like you don't even need meditation. You don't even need the perfect music. You just connect and just feel bliss, right? If you are that person that walks into a room and doesn't say a word and doesn't touch anyone either, right? And everyone says, you know, just having you here makes me feel better. So you're a spiritual intuitive. You are actually connecting with people on that soul level. Hey, Rennie, great to have you. And so the spiritual intuitive, I'll give a story. I was teaching a class and everybody's like, I'm an empath, I'm an emotional intuitive, I'm a physical intuitive, I know how to touch someone. And one woman goes, you know, I don't get any of that. And I said, well, 5 minutes ago we did a meditation. How did you feel? She goes, I just closed my eyes and I was transported. And I was suddenly in this space of freedom and expansion and peace. And I said, hon, you don't think that's something? I was like, some people meditate for 15 or 20 years to get that feeling. And I said, and I looked at your face and you looked like you were in bliss. I said, you're a spiritual intuitive. You just have that direct line. It's that. So for any of you who feel that, you are a spiritual intuitive. Now, most of us, it's not cut and dry, right? We're not just an emotional intuitive. We're not just a physical intuitive or just a spiritual. Oh, come back on. I'm still on, so come back on, Nancy. We're not just one thing. And so just keep in mind that most of us are combos. We may be a physical intuitive, an empath, a mental intuitive, a spiritual intuitive. So today we've covered basically that all of us are wired to receive invisible information, that we were born this way, that sadly Earth School and this planet hasn't been very conducive in training us or supporting us in connecting to our intuition, but times are changing, right? And then we've covered mental, intuitive, emotional, physical, and spiritual intuitive, and the fact that most of us are combos. Now, why am I talking about this? You know, people have said to me, there's so much else for you to talk about. Yes, you probably are, Nancy, from the exchange that I've had with you. I agree with you, you probably are. So most of us are combos, right? And one ability might jump out in front, like my empath ability jumped out in front, and then eventually it turned more into a mental intuitive. So I just know, I hear, and I see, right? And I just know things. And so, and anybody who's ever had an intuitive session with me knows that. And so we're a combination. Why am I talking about this subject matter so much, especially for the last 4 years? My first online call in 2012 was Intuition for the Changing Times. Back 4 years ago, we were still maybe in a little denial. We were thinking, you know, we were all manifesting peace on earth. I'm not saying that we're not manifesting peace on earth, but before we get there, we're also finding it's been a bumpy ride. We're also finding that all of the ugly, right, all of the racism and the xenophobia and the fear of an other, the fears that our culture and our world has carried are all coming up to light, right? So we're more insecure than ever. Let's not get into the presidential elections and all the mayhem that's going on with that. So we find ourselves as sentient, intuitive, conscious, awakened beings, sensitive beings, being throttled about by media, by our own sense of insecurity in this physical world. And that's why I'm talking about this more than ever, because I believe that our intuition will be not only the #1 skill that we're going to need when we go for careers in the future, especially in technology and business and other creative, and also in learning and education. I think that more and more we're going to begin to hire people who are visionaries, who are intuitives, who think outside the box because they're following the beat of their own drummer, right? The era of doing it like everyone else has really ended. And I know that still there are so many people who are looking for the template and for the right, process and for the right pattern and for the right kind of like, for the right outline for them to follow. And the truth is, we need the basics. We need to get back to basics. And then we need to listen to the intuitive guidance that each and every one of us is receiving. I also believe that during these changing times, these times of a lot of fear, there's a lot of upset. If you've been feeling overwhelmed and you've been feeling especially moody or a little sad, no wonder with everything that's happened this year, last year, and really we can argue forever. Hi, Michael. We are overwhelmed with what's happening. So it's really this time now to begin to pay attention. For those that have, an issue or don't believe in the divine, fine. Connect to your higher intelligence. Make time to silence the mind and go within and access that higher intelligence for the decisions that you need to make. Don't allow the fear around you to overwhelm you, and don't make decisions from fear. For those of you that believe in the divine connection or feel that their intuition is divinely given and soul-based, right, and creator-based, allow yourself the time, no matter how busy you are, no matter how overwhelmed you are, to connect with Creator, to connect with your guides, to connect, hi Juliet, to connect with that deeper wisdom, because we need it. We need it more than ever. And we've been saying this. Hi Mary, we've been saying this. We are the change that we have been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, but we're not going to do it if we're all frazzled about in fear. We're not going to do it if we're looking to point fingers at who done it, what's going on, who's wrong, who's right. The way we're going to do it is by connecting to our deep intuition, connecting to our souls, taking care of our bodies, and moving forth, anchoring love, anchoring spirit, and anchoring integrity, compassion. And so as you see, for me, intuition not only is higher mind, it's divine connection. I believe that it's an answer. It's a pathway back to who we truly are. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Kristen. Absolutely. Fear will contract your body. Fear will make you feel small in your heart and your chest and your body and every part of you. And so if you're making a decision like what job to choose, etc., breathe in and begin to breathe in love and know that you're supported. Hi, Allie. And know that you're supported, and choose from love and choose from expansion. Because while the real world, know what I mean by the real world, I'm talking about the 3D physical world, is kind of going haywire and it's asking for healing. Hey, Todd, is asking for healing. The inner world is asking for you to understand it. The inner world is asking, it's been saying, hey, you've been wired for me. Listen to me now. I'm going to guide you to your greatest creative achievement. I'm going to guide you to deeper healing. I'm going to guide you to creating a business that's going to help people and impact others. And so, yes, absolutely, Michael, integrity is really what's needed. Walking our talk. When we are in alignment in mind, body, and spirit, in our word, our character, and our action, that's power. That's soul power. That's spiritual power. And so our intuition can help take us there. This chat has gone on longer than I thought, and I love sharing with all of you, and thank you for coming on. I am having a 1-hour call tonight. And it is Survive and Thrive with Your Intuition. The call is happening online. I'll post the link underneath this video, and all you need to do is just register and you'll get the conference call information. And we're going to talk about specific tools, specific practices that you can use to keep returning to your center no matter what madness is going on around you. Okay? And remember, if you're a mother, if you're a father, if you're a leader, right? If you're a friend, if you're a sister, if you're a daughter, if you're a son, if you're a human being during this time, your anchored love and connection is needed to affect everyone else. You know, no one is excused. It's like all hands on deck right now. You know, the world is going through such change and flux. If we tilt the energy into fear, it's just not going to work out for us. But if we continue to tilt the energy into love, compassion, forgiveness, truth, integrity, and interconnection, I know that we're going to get through this. And we're going to be able to create the changes that everyone here watching this video really want to happen in the world. So I hope you join my call tonight at 8 p.m. I'll post the link below. And we'll be talking about specific tools and practices that you can walk away with to allow you to connect to your powerful intuition so you can be healthier, more confident, more connected, more peaceful, and more expressive and expansive in your life and business. Thank you so, so much. Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.